Hi folks, welcome to Field Notes Friday. I'm Allison, UVLT's Programs Director, and this is the first Friday of 2022. I hope you all had a fantastic New Year's and are ready to learn a little bit more about the outside world. So earlier in the year, we talked about several different methods of seed dispersal. And we're going to talk about another one today, but this is a method of tree seed dispersal. So we are actually going to be talking about pine trees and pine cones. All right, so what we have here are white pine trees. This is a small stand of white pines. And you can tell if a tree is a pine by the long needles that it has. So your Christmas trees are not actually pine trees. They're most likely fir trees. This is a pine tree. And the easiest way to tell if it's a white pine is to look at the bunches of needles. White pines are the only pines in the East that have 5 needles per bundle. And that's the easiest and most reliable way to know if you are looking at a white pine. So, fun fact, pine needles are edible, but you want to save that information for a survival situation because they don't taste great. So anyway, here are the cones of the white pine. These are the female cones. So they're bigger. They're the ones that you find on the ground. Those are always the females. The male cones are higher up in the tree. They grow in bunches, they're very small, they're yellow, and they're clustered at the base of the current year's growth. So these big ones are female pine cones. And a fun fact about pine trees in general, all pine trees are gymnosperms, and gymnosperms comes from the Greek that means naked seed, because pine tree seeds develop outside of an ovary. So unlike angiosperms, which are most of like the fruits that you would know, there's no flower and there's no fruit. There's just the pine cone. So it's a naked seed. And the way that these pine cones work is the female cones will be closed, and when the males release pollen, the scales of the pine cones open up to let the pollen inside, and then they close again. The seed will grow underneath the scale, and eventually after what can be up to 12 months, the pine cones will open up in hot, dry weather and release the seeds. So that's pretty cool. A white pine like this one can take 20 to 30 years before it will reproduce at all. And these cones, the female cones, can be from 3 to 8 inches big, these are pretty big pine cones. Another fun fact about pine trees is that the pineal gland in your brain was named after a pine cone. All right, folks, that's it for today's Field Notes Friday. Thank you for joining me and have a great weekend.